Welcome to the AI for Interior Designers podcast, where creativity meets cutting edge technology. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence and explore how it's revolutionizing the interior design industry. From AI powered design tools to the latest trends and innovations, we've got you covered. So plug in, relax, and let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to AI for Interior Designers podcast. P.S. This intro was written by and voiced by AI to sound like your host, Jenna Gaidusek.
Hey designers, welcome back for episode 66 of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Gaidusek. And today, instead of doing a year-end review type episode that everybody does, but nobody actually wants to watch, let's look at the numbers for a second. I want to talk about where we're going, okay? I'm not somebody that loves to look at the past. I am somebody that is always looking towards the future. So while I am obsessed with history, and it is definitely a big nerd passion of mine, I never really look at the past unless if it's for analytics and postmortems in my business. So doing end of the year reviews and recaps and all that stuff to me almost feels, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it, it feels a little self-centered when I see those. I understand, we're celebrating our wins. We're, acknowledging that we did these great things in the year, but nobody cares. Nobody really cares. Let's be honest. That's your wins. That's your place to celebrate. And while I 100% acknowledge and celebrate everybody that's accomplished things in their year, I am never one to dwell on that year. I'm like, what's next? What are we doing now? And I think that's honestly what's given me the advantage in my career, because I do not dwell. I do not hold on to things. In fact, I am somebody that is probably changing faster than most people can keep up with for that reason, because I don't want to do what people have done. I don't want to do what I have done. I want to set new standards. I want to see what's next. I want to do those things before anybody else does. So instead of doing a recap today, let's talk about what we're going to be doing next year. We're going to change it up, okay? 2025 sucked. I'm over it. Let's move on. Let's hope that 2026 is better, because yikes, what did we just go through? My gosh, what a year. But I guess that you always have to have a year like this to be able to change and move forward and really be serious about what's going on, right? Okay, so let's start with what I think AI is going to be doing in the new year. And if you don't follow Google's Gemini DeepMind, I highly recommend that you do. Something I'm going to say before we get into this is, you don't see me posting prompts on social media for a reason, okay? The reason, first of all, is that I teach professionals how to prompt. I don't teach everybody on the internet how to prompt and create imagery. If you wanted to learn that, you could ask ChatGPT how to do that. But if you want to be a professional and learn how to take the basic level and use it as a professional, that's what I teach, okay? I actually really gate a lot of my content for a reason, so that not everybody on the internet can go and just do it and act like they are an interior designer because they now have AI in their pocket, okay? So before I get into all of this, I'm not speaking to homeowners here. I never am speaking to homeowners unless I'm educating them on what we do. I am always speaking to interior design professionals in any capacity, in any realm of our industry. That's who I speak to. I do not give these tools and these tips to the general public because I want people in our industry to keep their jobs. I don't want to take them away from them. And that's the difference. Okay. So if you're following some of these people online that are giving you all these free prompts and saying, go use Nano Banana, go use all these tools, they're teaching everybody, and they're teaching somebody that's probably not going to hire you because they now have those tools. So I recommend unfollowing them and not supporting that type of business, if I'm going to be totally blunt with you, okay? Because it is detrimental. And I feel like I need to say this because I don't think a lot of people realize when you see, free prompt. Okay, but free for everyone, not just you as a professional, right? So
Be careful with who you support, please. Okay. I want you guys to have jobs. And what I'm going to say next is why I'm telling you this, because jobs are dwindling. I think a lot of you guys know that. Not only are like regular jobs to get design clients dwindling because we know, right? But the designers that are closing shop is breaking my heart right now. I'm seeing so many small businesses, so many small firms closing their doors at the end of the year because they can't sustain it anymore. I'm also seeing a lot of great partnerships where there are firms that are staying afloat by joining forces. I'm actually seeing a lot of professionals building their consulting teams. And that's actually something I've been working on for the past 3 months behind the scenes, is who's my go-to professionals for this, for that, for, whatever, while I'm working with clients, where I can say, look, you need somebody to tell your story in copyright, lifestyle historian. Julia helps me with that. Put together events, her as well. If I'm on this side of the country, I would love to work with this person. If I'm over here, I would love to, collaborate or bring this person in for website stuff that I don't do, like WordPress stuff. So I'm seeing a lot of this also in our industry, where it's like, okay, this person can get permits. This person does renders, scaled CAD drawings, and this person's really good at procurement and keeping up with everything. All of that stuff. I am seeing contractor build outs of these firms so that they can set themselves up for success in the new year with less overhead and more collaboration. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I really love that. So if you have not been connecting with other people in our industry, going to trade shows, joining your local chapters I'm in IDS here in Charleston, but ASID or NKPA, whatever your vibe is, find your group. Go to the things and connect with people. It's how I found my local intern, actually. No longer an intern, now assistant. She's out of college, the local interior design school. So for that reason, I've been able to find and collaborate with some incredible people and set myself up for success going into the new year. So I love seeing this with all my clients too. Like, I work with some pretty high caliber clientele. That's why you don't see me posting it all over the internet. Okay. The firms that I work with in this industry are discreet. I keep our conversations discreet and what I build for them discreet as well, because they are one-offs. I build platforms, I build websites. That's what I've been doing this year. For a while, but this year I've been building custom apps for firms, and they all are doing the same thing. They all are positioning their teams or building their teams to go forward in the new year collectively versus independently. And I think it's brilliant. I really just do. Okay. Because the tools that are coming, like I said last time, they are for everyone. They are for everyone. So how are you going to take that and elevate it with your education, with your years of being in this industry? That never replaces what AI can just spit out with some words and inspiration, right? So, big picture, the way that we're going to be working as professionals using generative AI for imagery, for video, for immersive experiences is about to get wild. Like, I started doing this and posting about it 2.5 years ago on my Instagram when AI was rough, if you remember. Go back and look, they're all there. So seeing now where we are, 2.5 years later, and what's coming, it's night and day, but it's also scary because it's like, well, that's not just for us. And so that's why I try and protect all my apps with gated payments. And even if they're not expensive, but like, I built them for professionals. I don't want everybody on the internet to use them. So one of the tools that I built, I use the latest and greatest AI technology from Google. So that's what's in the AI App Studio. If you are not familiar, I have a light version right now with my daily program, which is getting a full-on facelift here in January. And then I have the full version in the certificate program. So if you're not familiar with the certificate program, go to AIforinteriordesigners.ai. the first semester actually starts January 6th. So you want to get in before that closes on the 5th. But all those students get full on app studio access and they help build. So I build apps using Gemini, and I basically create them for a purpose. So when I had to do a proposal last week for a website, I took my proposal that I had already done to build somebody else's website and put that into this app. And as I'm creating this proposal, I'm building the app at the same time. So it is literally done for a workflow by a person using it for that workflow, like not a developer imagining how you might do this as a professional and then saying, oh, here's an app that I think could work for you. Okay. Like, no, I build apps for a purpose and then I hand them over to the AI app studio. And right now there's 3. There'll be another one today in the certificate program studio, but every week I'm dropping a new one. And when I create new apps, the reason is because I need to solve a solution and I want to do it faster in my own. So when I'm building these apps, I'm building them for a reason. I'm building them because I have a problem to solve. I have a client, or I have something that I know is a repeatable thing that I'm going to need to do again. So previously I talked about how you can make custom GPTs for this. That was like 2 years ago, right? Like that's when we really were getting started with ChatGPT and creating little bots that basically that could do things when you told them to do stuff. This is next level. This is basically that, but as an app. So it's your interface, it's your presets, whatever you want to make it. That's what these are. So the generative AI, in the way that it's going to change in the new year, it already has. I already do this. And a lot of members using these apps are doing it now too. But the apps that I build are actually not really prompting apps. So I think it's funny that you see all these people online that are just trying to make a quick buck, like, here's all this, the prompt that you need for this and to create that image and all of this. And it's like, you could just ask ChatGPT for that prompt, but okay. I think people forget that like they get those from AI and then they give them to you. So if you wanted to literally just take the prompting out of all of it, that's what's next. Okay. I don't prompt for imagery that I need to keep creating anymore. And what that means is I created an app that basically that app, when I upload, here's the client brief, here's a design board or a concept board, here's the actual space. I have preset buttons that will, if I say drop all these things into the space, it'll look at the 2 images and then the products that are on the board come up with the prompt for me. And then I can edit it if I need to, but generally it's pretty great. So unless if I need to give it more context as to, oh, that dresser goes there and this one actually goes over here, I've built an app that takes all of that out. Okay. So when I say I am 3 steps ahead of everybody else that's doing this, you don't see it because I don't share it on social media. I'm just doing it. And it's so hard for me to be like, okay, I know you're still having this lengthy conversation with Gemini or ChatGPT to get an image that you hope is right. I don't do that anymore. Like, I don't have conversations with my chat thread in Gemini to use Nano Banana. I build apps with Nano Banana to take that out. And I hope that makes sense, because the next like frontier, what we're getting into is I don't just build these apps for me. I build these apps for businesses. So I built full on, I don't know, how do I want to say this? Dashboards for clients, project management systems. I build entire systems using Gemini privately for companies, for interior design professionals. I build chatbots. I build proposal builders that now automate everything and give you exactly what you need. One of my favorite apps that I released last week to the certificate program, and I think I put this one in the daily as well, is a paint schedule. So what is one of the most time-consuming things to do as a professional? Paint schedules, right? So I created an app that basically you can enter information in a variety of ways. One way would be to upload any picture that you own, okay, has to be yours because we don't steal other people's work here, and you can upload that. So upload that, say what paint brand you want, and or all of the ones that I have in there. It'll create okay, here's the hex code, here's the Pantone color, here's the actual paint that it is associated and closely linked to based off of the color data. And then it'll spit out a paint schedule. It'll give you trim complementary colors. It'll give you paint finish suggestions. It'll give you metals suggestions. And then you can export it as a editable spreadsheet. You can export it as multiple rooms as exportable spreadsheets or PDFs that are beautiful, like spreadsheet formatted, all the colors right there for you, for all the paint dots, instantly. Okay? Instantly. You can edit them. You can voice clip in what you want. You can take CSVs that you already have and import that to make them pretty. But that's what I build because I needed to as a professional. And that's the difference between developers building something and not really understanding what we do and us building our own tools. And that is here, and that is going to blow up next year. I'm telling you right now, before everybody on the internet copies me, because I've been doing this since this summer, and I know everybody's going to be copying me because they always do. So you're hearing it right now. I build apps. I share my apps with everybody in my AI app studio. Now you can go use them. And the goal is for us to build them and improve them together based off your feedback. And that's why I have the fantastic Dixie Willard that is helping me with the app building side of all of this. And that's when I say, if you can't do everything yourself and you need to build out your teams, that's what I've been doing. And Dixie is one part of that team that I've been working on. So excited to have her on board for the app building and the AI app studio and custom apps that I build for businesses and companies. Okay, so that is honestly one of my, it's here now. It's going to only explode as it gets bigger into the new year, and something that I will definitely be sharing more on. Now, agents, if you haven't heard what an agent is by now, you probably haven't listened to a lot of AI stuff because it's everywhere, right? So agentic AI or agents basically just means that they do stuff on your behalf, okay? And we knew that these were coming. They are here. We have them built into Gemini. We've got them built into everything at this point, for the most part. All the big AI tools now have agentic AI. So if you say, I need you to go do this, it can go do that on your behalf. Is it always correct? Is it always fast? Never, never. I find that I can set my agents in various programs, Perplexity or Gemini now has some, which they're a little bit different because they actually do what you want because they're very specific inside your email, and they're called flows. But basically, I will say, here's what I want you to do. And I watch them do it in the beginning. And it's very slow because it's thinking about the entire process that you put it to do that task. And it can only handle so much at a time. So if it's a big task, it kind of is oh no, it's too much. And then it times out. So this is getting better though. It's light years beyond where we were 6 months ago when they really started coming out on the scene. But agents and automatic requests to do stuff on your behalf is now just going to become so mainstream that it's going to feel very organic. They started with the Siris and the Alexas in the world, and this is the next level for that. Okay, so instead of saying, Siri, can you tell me what's on my calendar, you can say, hey Siri, go schedule everything that I need for the rest of the year. That's the difference, telling me what's on there versus doing it. So agentic AI is about to totally blow up and probably be in everything that you have in some capacity, all your tools. Okay, so multimodal. It sounds like it's such a weird word to say it out loud. I'm so used to reading it. It's multimodal. So basically just different types of AI all in one. So this is where if you want to talk to your AI, have it do a video with you, upload different documents, have it export different documents. It's everything going on at once, okay? An example of this would be Google Notebook LM, which I have loved forever. It's only getting better. I've got a really old podcast actually where I uploaded a PDF and then asked them to do, well, I said, like, turn this into a podcast. So it's the audio version. And it's two people talking. And so that's a really old episode that I did when it first actually started to come out. And now, like, they've added so many different things. So if you upload your content or project or whatever you're researching or want to keep in a notebook, then you can engage with it, ask certain questions. You can say, okay, so give me a video about everything that you see here. Export this as an audio clip. I actually want to listen to this. And it'll be the two people talking. How about a visual mind map? It's an interactive mind map. What about like written, Q&A format or FAQ format? Like, that's what multimodal, oh, it sounds so weird to say it out loud. That's what that means, is that like you can do different things in different formats. Okay. And so previously, like, we could really just have like a simple conversation or a chat, and half the time it would be like, oh yeah, I can export a PDF, no problem. And it would be like the weirdest thing ever. Now, a lot of these apps that I'm building now with Gemini, they do everything. So like if I want to voice clip in notes, I can do that. If I want to import a CSV or a document and then export it as whatever, I can, all within the one app, because it's powered by this multimodal tool, which is, for me, Gemini. So with that being said, like, how would we actually incorporate that to, interior designers? So let's say you want to upload plans, photos, your SketchUp images or files, mood board images, concept board images, and then basically say, okay, AI, I want you to generate different layouts, different suggestions, which, by the way, is still really weird. I don't love that part of this because that's kind of something that humans, I think, should do. It could give you alternative suggestions though, okay? But it does not replace the need to still draft and do 2-scale floor plans at this point in time, okay? But let's say that it generated that, or different style directions, or different annotated like mock-ups, all with your project closed information. So it's not just like, okay, I get text in, we give text out. It's whatever you want in, whatever you want out. And it is now so universal that it's across the majority of these AI tools, the big ones, okay? There's an example of how a studio used this to create a chair mock-up, basically, and then bring it to real life. So the designer... So an interesting case study that I came across for DeepMind by Google, and basically how designers can use these tools to like not hinder their creativity, but instead bring their vision to life faster. And I found that this was such a great case study and use case of the DeepMind tools. So Gemini's tools. I'm going to link this here, but Lovegrove Studio with Ross Lovegrove is basically, it was so cool. So they took Ross's chair and thousands of sketches for furniture that he has been creating and sketching all of his life. They trained the model on all of those sketches. And then he had one chair that he was trying to actually build. And so they had like hundreds of different iterations after training on his sketch and how he draws. And then basically taking the latest sketch and saying, look, now you know all of this. How do I take this one chair and give me all these other ideas for it? So it did that. It took the chair, it gave hundreds of different solutions, different looks. And then he took one that he liked and then like ran with it. They were like, well, let's see it from this angle and let's see it in this finish and this finish. And then basically they took it to a point where it was able to be 3D printed and brought into real life, all based off of his training, his sketches, his original sketch that then took on another life and perspective so that it could be 3D printed in real life. So the possibility is not hindering. Like, I don't know another way to say that. If you are a creative person, this just opens so many doors for you. If you can sketch, which I can't for my life, so this is actually helpful. But if you can sketch, you can bring anything to life. You can put any finish, any material on that sketch and make it look photorealistic, create models out of it, and then bring it into the real world. The average person doesn't even know where to start with that. So for that reason, we are safe in our jobs. For the reason of like, we don't follow trends, we set them. We have a job, okay? But if you fall behind that, if you only follow trends, if you look for what's already been done everywhere and you don't set that next expectation, what is the difference between you and an AI tool? What makes you unique? What makes you unique in the human experience, right? I just, every episode, I try and drive that home because it's so incredibly important. And I see so many designers online that are like, well, I'm not getting work. And I'm like, well, yeah, because your posts share everything that's been on Pinterest for 10 years. Give me something new. Tell me what I don't know about. Be edgy. Get out there. Say the things that nobody's saying. And that's what makes you stand out. Not going with the flow. Not being the GPT that's already been trained. Like, be unique, because you're not going to stand out very soon. And I'm sorry, I had to just say that real quick because I know what's coming. And I see how people that are embracing it are using it and just dipping their feet in. People that are telling me every week, like, I'm not a tech person. I'm not an AI person. I'm like, yeah, really? You would have had me fooled, because you're embracing it better than I've seen people that say that they are techie people embrace it right now. And I almost feel like it's because people that aren't techie and are creative see different ways to use the tools than others. Those that say, AI is going to take your job, they're referring to the people that are not setting themselves apart. They're referring to the people that are staying stagnant, that aren't setting the trends, that are following the AI. Those are the type of people that will talk into their phone and say, I need to write a blog post for my interior design business. Give me 10 ideas and then write it for me, and then copy that and put it on their website. That is not the same as somebody that is a higher caliber interior design professional that is saying into their phone, hey, I just had this experience with my client. I think this would make a really great blog post. I'm going to tell you all about it, and then you're going to write it in my brand voice, but with my antidotes, and make it SEO optimized for me. Okay? There's a difference between asking AI for something and then taking that as Bible, and the people that say, AI is here, how can I push the limit with what I already do and with what I already know? Because AI doesn't know what I know. If you had any conversations professionally, it can mimic, it can repeat, but it doesn't know what's next, right? So that's why I highly recommend you get into whatever your favorite tool is. Sorry, you can't get that anywhere else. That's actually just my proprietary app that I built for these consultations so that I could show you in real time how this looks and how this works. Those apps built by professionals for the job that you're doing will never beat something that a developer made that has no concept of what we do and how things need to be done, because they're not designers. If you in the next year could create a personalized, trained app for yourself, for your clients, for your employees, what would it be? If you could basically make anything you ever wanted for the entire process, for an individual process, for something that takes up half an hour in your day, but you feel like it should take 5, what would you make? Because now you have the power to do that. And if you don't want to do that, I can do that for you. But this is where I'm starting to showcase what is coming out, what is next for the new year. Because for us, we can rapidly show what's in our mind in real time. It doesn't have to be to scale, and it won't be, right? But why would we take something back to the office, right? Like, if we can change that cabinet color because we have programmed our own app with all of our cabinet colors and selections and paint brands, we're not even trained it. Like, it could just look on the internet and do that for you. Why wouldn't we come with those tools? Why wouldn't we come with our own suite of tools to a client's meeting and say, oh,
So I'm going to leave you with this for today. The possibilities are endless. They're endless for everybody on this earth. Now that AI has gotten to a place where you can make anything your mind comes up with, anything, okay? My daughter, who's 9, makes apps now when she has an idea. I'm telling you, if you want to make something, you can make it. Now, I'm not going to recommend if you are new to or not a techie person that you go and just like start building apps right now. The interfaces will definitely get better. Give it about 6 months. I can build them. I build them. I actually have really great plans and apps that I've already been building so that you can take those and totally customize them for yours and then build off of them. And that is what's coming for the new year with Dixie as part of an extension of the App Studio, where you can basically see what we can create in there as little samples. And then if you want to take that to your team or your company or whatever and build your own using ours, we would be able to help you and brand those and entirely make them yours with new features and everything. So there's something to be said for when interior design professionals make tools that satisfy and solve an issue, and those that just build to make money. Okay, there's a big difference. We all have the same tools now. We all can access these tools, not just developers anymore. So we're going to make some really cool stuff in 2026. And my goal is to create an app studio for our industry that is built by us, maintained by us, upgraded, and added features monthly, constantly. We're always going to be adding to these apps when new stuff comes out or suggestions from our industry have been made within our communities to add certain features to the apps. But my goal is to make it so that you don't need other subscriptions. Make it so that you don't need any other tools aside from your professional like BIM software. I'm not trying to be a rendering program. I'm not trying to be a CAD. There's just some things that you don't do. And we're not at that point with accuracy at all that I would even explore that. Now, cut to a year from now, maybe when I do this one going into 2027, which is crazy. But right now we are not there. So the apps and tools that I build are for systems, for process, and are so open-ended that it really works for anybody in the industry. So like building proposals or, budgets or color palettes or taking images and changing them and doing whatever you need to. So the tools that I build are for you to use in hopes that you can cancel some other things and not have to pay 10,000 different subscriptions, where we are collectively taking our industry back and taking our apps and our technology back from those that take all of our information and all of our data and train their models and train their programs and then turn them over to everybody on the internet and say, screw you, interior designers. We're going to give this to everybody else because we have some people that put in some money and we need to show some results. So you're not the biggest market anymore. We're going to bring this to homeowners. We're not doing that. Not with the AI App Studio. The AI App Studio was built on the premise of ethically creating an app in a safe place for professionals to go to have the tools, the actual tools, like not BS things other people make up for us that tell us that this is how your business should run. You have to use this program. You have to go in this order. No, we build apps for how we want them so that we can cancel all those other ones. That's what we're doing in 2026.
In the new year, I'm not going to be recommending a lot of new apps. I'm not going to be recommending a lot of new AI programs unless if there's something that blows it out of the water. I'm actually going to be reducing the amount of apps and recommendations that I have on, and I have been for a while, on my website, because I have always been one to protect our industry and not hurt it. And I feel that taking the AI app studio into our own hands and taking it away from big companies in our industry and those that are just tech industry that wanted to get into interior design, they're hurting us. And I don't know what point a lot of these big tools that a lot of us use, and I'm not talking about the SketchUps, I'm not talking about the rendering, the CAD, that type of stuff, these subscriptions that cost hundreds of dollars and you use a portion of it because you might have something else over here that does that better and over here. And then you're really just using these tools because it's a portal or because it has all of your files in there or something. But in the end, what if you could just make your own? What if you could have an AI-powered app studio portal that is entirely yours? You own it, you pay for it, you invite your clients to it, all that stuff. I would do that. I am doing that. So I'll leave you with that. That is the future. That is the future for what's coming up. It is taking the tech into your own hands, building your own apps using AI, in elevating the experience in a way that we've never been able to do before. So if you are still nervous about AI, you should be. There's definitely different things that should make you nervous. But if you are a go-getter, and if you are a trendsetter, and if you are somebody that's like, yeah, I'm not going to be losing my job next year, let me try and figure out how to make AI my, that's who's going to thrive in the new year, okay? This is not something taking things away from us. People that can't afford to hire a designer, which unfortunately is a lot of people right now, let's just be honest with the economy, and they all deserve a house that they love and that they feel safe in. I don't care if they don't hire me. They're just not my client, okay? They're going to do it themselves because that's what they can afford right now. It's okay. But there's people that can't afford you, or you bring a service to them that is now affordable in a different caliber. Maybe it's not full scale, because who's doing the full scale, right? Now is the time to reimagine and reinvent and recreate the process and the outcome entirely. You have the power to do that. And I want you to take this break time over, Christmas break or the New Year's or whatever you're doing to end your 2025. And I want you to seriously consider, what is my process? What are my deliverables? How much am I charging? Am I getting clients? What kind of clients am I getting? What do I want to do with my life? What do I want to do with my business? Do I want to join forces with other people? Do I want to start looking for website builders, copywriters, social media people so that I can finally come out of this and branch out and do the things that I want to do in a way that I want to do them? Your business should never be dictated by the tools and the tech and the AI that you use. I'm going to say that again, because I think a lot of designers are like, well, what's the best program for this? And what's the best program for that? And it's like, you can crowdsource all you want, but what do you do? What is your goal? What is making you unique? Not what is everybody else doing. That has never been my thing. If I see a group of people doing something, I'm like, whoa, no, I'm doing that. Or I'm going to invent that. And then those people are going to do that. And then I'm going to do this because that hasn't been done yet, right? So think about how you can move forward. And I know it's scary, but you have the technology. You have the technology to build anything you can imagine, okay? So that is the exciting part of what's next. We're not going to dwell on the parts where AI is scary today. We are going to look forward into the future, and we're going to say, we have all the tools at our fingertips. How are we going to use them? It's exciting. All right, I'm going to leave you with that today. I hope you go check out the certificate program, AIFrontierDesigners.ai, and enroll before January 5th if you want to join the first semester, okay? All right, so that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful new year, and I'll see you again in January. I am taking time off, like literally. I am about to go put up my away message, and I'll see you in January. Okay, bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and tune in next week for more AI tips for your design business. See you next time.